welcome back to my channel. It's Hillary Jubilee. If you're new, we talk about manifestation, conscious creation, and the law of assumption. Please hit the subscribe button if you have not done so already, and I am so happy you are here watching this video. Thank you. And let's get into it. So I went to see Marianne Williamson a few weeks ago in Vancouver. She came to speak, and it was a lovely experience, and I just wanted to share a few little takeaways that I had and my experience. So I wrote down some notes. I did notice when I was sitting in the audience that there were people a few rows ahead of me that actually brought a notebook and were writing notes down, and I was like, oh, I should have brought a notebook, but I just had my phone. So I wrote a few little things in my notebook. I had watched quite a few of her talks on YouTube here. There's quite a few of them there. And so some of the examples that she gave and some of the jokes that she told I had already heard them before. But that being said, there's nothing like being, present and, hearing somebody that you admire speak. And I definitely had a few takeaways. So here they are. So one little cute thing that she said was meditate or pray. I can't remember which one she said, meditate or pray. And side note, Marianne Williamson talks a lot about A Course in Miracles, which is a text, and it has a text bit and a 365-day course. And essentially she describes it as psychotherapy, training the mind from ego and fear-based thinking to love and God-based thinking, essentially. And the entire course and text was transcribed by a woman who was channeling Jesus Christ. And so it's similar to how Neville Goddard, describes spiritual terms based on the Bible, but it's not in a religious way, it's in a spiritual way. And so this is kind of similar to that, where it's not dogma, it's not a religion, it's just a path, one of many paths to love. And A Course in Miracles really resonates with me. But side note, that's a lot of what Marianne Williamson references the Course a lot and teaches it, and has, many, many books written, and a couple of her books, are based on the Course principles and teachings. So yeah, so A Course in Miracles, doing the lessons every day, is a form of meditation. And so doing a course lesson every day is, you could do that instead of meditating as well, because it is a form of meditation. So meditate or pray in the morning and kick ass in the afternoon is what she said. And I just love that, because her whole point was, you're not meant to be meditating 24 hours a day. The growth and the change and the lessons come from, living your life, going about your life. And the circumstances of your life are there and meant to teach you and make it so that you can grow and evolve. So withdrawing from your life and just constantly meditating is not, unless you want to be a monk or whatever, that's fine too. But, it's easy enough to stay in a meditative state and be focused on love when you're not faced with challenges, right? So it's just a cute little thing that I liked that she said. Okay, so this next point is my favorite. It really just resonated, and it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes by Florence Scovel. And so what Marianne Williamson said was, and I don't know if this particular line is in the Course, but anyway, she said, only infinite patience produces immediate results. Only infinite patience produces immediate results. And what that reminds me of is my favorite quote by Florence Scovel, which is, your ships sail in on I don't care sea. And the reason that reminds me of that is because infinite patience. So if you compare this to manifesting, which, side note, the Course, it actually touches on creating what you want. And it says, like, it could be misguided if you're, creating from your ego and creating your world through what you think is right, rather than allowing spirit to guide you to what is right. And so that's just what the Course says, as a side note. But the reason it reminds me of that is because if you compare it to manifesting infinite patience, you would not be impatient if you were embodying the version of you who already had what you wanted, right? Law of assumption. If when you're manifesting something, living in the end is, you know, embodying that version of you, stepping into the feeling of already having what you want. So if you're impatient and checking the time, and I've been doing X, you know, X tool for X amount of time, why isn't it here yet? Where's my stuff? Then, you know, you're impatient, you're not living in the end. So if you had infinite patience, that would probably be because you are enjoying yourself so much that you don't need anything to happen. You are having so much fun in that state of being where all of your dreams are already here right now, and embodying the magic of that and sinking, you know, seeping that feeling into your being. You're infinitely patient because you're not waiting for something to happen. You know that it's already done in imagination, and you feel like that is enough. You feel so content and whole and complete that you do not need anything to change on the outside. And paradoxically, that feeling of infinite patience, or already being complete and whole as you are, produces immediate results. The quicker, you know, what you want will occur when you have infinite patience. And your ship's sailing on an I don't care sea. If you don't care, you're not obsessing or focusing on something not being there yet. You don't care because you're not obsessing over, you know, it not being here. So you're nonchalant, you're just living your life. You're not like checking for it. You're not impatient / you don't care. So anyway, those two lines I really like. Infinite patience produces immediate results. Only infinite patience produces immediate results. Okay, so the third point I have from her talk was the mind was created to love. It causes us pain to use it as it was not made to be used. So when we're in our ego or fear-based thinking, anything that is not love is fear. There's only love and there's only fear. Every thought that we have, every action that we do, everything is based in either love or fear. So if you are not using your mind for love, then it's going to cause you some pain on the inside. So I have an example of this in my own mind that occurred recently. I go to this gym called F45. It's actually a worldwide franchise, so you might have heard of it, but I'm obsessed. I love the workouts. And anyway, so we're doing this circuit HIIT type high intensity training, right? Different stations, you're moving all around the room really quick. You know, maybe I'm doing 45-second set and then moving on to the next one. And it's just, it's kind of like a racetrack format where it was like, you're over here, you're over there. It's like up and down the room, and everybody just moves up a number and goes in a line. And I was in this station that was up against the wall, and I was using, it's called a Y-bell. It's kind of like a triangle shaped weight thing. Whatever, doing my exercise with that. And there's a box jump station to my right. So I'm up against the wall and there's a box jump here. And the way you're supposed to do it is you're supposed to jump up and down on the opposite side of the box from where I'm standing. So when the trainers introduced the exercise, they were like, okay, the person on the screen is doing it where you go on one side and then you jump down the other side, like in kind of like a, you're jumping up one side and then you're going down another side. He's like, we don't have room for that. So everybody just go on this side and just stay on that side. Just go up and down on the one side over there. And so every time, so we did 2 laps of the room. So first lap, I'm doing my Y-bell thing. The person who is at the box jump while I'm at this station over here by the wall comes around the other side and is box jumping like in my space, like up in my grill. Like they like moved the box over and we're like here. And so they're in my way and I'm just like, I feel very like claustrophobic. I'm like trying to do my movements, but they're like right there, like jumping down. And so, you know, my mind is going, okay, why is she doing that? Why can't she just, you know, go with the status quo and just go on the side she's supposed to go on? Like, why is she encroaching into my space? It's super annoying. And my mind just going, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to do my workout and blah, 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 blah. My mind's like, oh, like so frustrated about this, like just everybody else. And I'm just like, okay, my mind's going, okay, whatever, like 45-second station, it's fine. Then you go again, you do another round. and I'm coming up to the station again, and I'm like looking to see the two people in front of her to see if they did, which side they did it on. And I'm like looking at the timer, because I'm on the rowing machine before I go to this Y bell thing. And I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like cut out for a couple seconds early so that I can get to my station quicker, so she can see that there's no room for her to do that. Like, just, I have to control the situation, and my mind's like, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my God, like, is she gonna do it again? Because the two people that were in front of her did it on the correct side. Anyway, and then I was on the rower, I couldn't get my feet out fast enough to like get over there, and she's already did the same thing again. She like moved the box a little bit and was like jumping up and down, and like she's in my space again. And I'm like, okay, I just spent however many minutes of my life wasting my time. It's fear-based thoughts because it's not based in love. I had no compassion, apparently, you know, in that moment. And I realized it when she did it again. I was like, okay, it's a 45-second set. It's not the end of the world. She's not a bad person. I forgive myself for wasting time, like having these stupid thoughts that don't mean anything and don't affect anybody and shouldn't affect anyone's day. Like, she's jumping on the wrong side of the box. She didn't touch me at all. It's fine. So anyway, it was like, that's just a funny example of how your mind was created to love. So when you're not using it for love, you're uncomfortable. The only person that's suffering is yourself. So if you're judging somebody else, if you're, you know, using your mind for anything that isn't love at any time, whether it's just in your mind or if you say something out loud, that person isn't separate from you. Everyone is you pushed out, as Neville Goddard's, you know, principle says. Everything is yourself pushed out. There is no separation. So if that person is myself, and I'm going on and on about, oh, they're doing it wrong, blah, blah, it's like, there's no reason to be using the mind in that way. And it is a practice. So just thought I would share that funny example of not using the mind correctly. And I'm sure everybody has an example in their own mind of, you know, it might be daily or hourly where you're not using your mind for love. And so, you know, train that mind. Stop yourself. Try to recognize, am I using my mind for love or for fear? What is this thought based on? Am I judging somebody right now? Is it necessary? Does it help anybody? No. Okay, last little example that I had from Marianne Williamson's talk. Okay, so you might know that namaste means the God in me salutes the God in you, or the divine or divinity in myself salutes or sees or recognizes the divinity in you. So, you know, swap out whatever word, God, universe, divinity, whatever word. What did we have? Yeah, whatever word you want, whatever resonates. I used to say universe. Now God resonates with me because I don't have that icky, sticky, you know, reference to, you know, religion. It doesn't bother me anymore. So I think of God as more of an expansive, loving, all-inclusive presence. And then salutes or sees or recognizes. So she said, like, if you're feeling, you know, like you have a lot of fear or you have a lot of anxiety or whatever, you're not coming from love. If you do this exercise where you look around at people or think of people that you love or anybody, and do that, the God in me salutes or recognizes, the God in me sees the God in you, and do that for 2 minutes and see how your world shifts. And she had us do that in the room. She's like, just look at the back of somebody's head and just like 3 different people, just send them loving energy. God in me salutes the God in you. And the peace that comes over you when you do that. So that was a really lovely little meditation or practice that she had us do. And that is all I had today. Actually, maybe I'll share a little bit of my experience as well. Like, I was standing in line waiting to get my book signed, and I just went there by myself. So everybody was talking and chatting, and there was a group in front of me that were all chatting. There was 2 people behind me that were chatting, and it was just really beautiful to hear just listen in on the conversations that people were having about, you know, A Course in Miracles and manifestation and God and spirituality. And it was just nice to be surrounded by, you know, chatter of that sort. And I kind of was thinking in my head, I really just wish somebody would talk to me. Like, I kind of want to talk to somebody about this. And the girl in front of me in the group just turns around and is like, hey, what's your name? And then her and I started talking, and she ended up taking a photo of me and Marianne Williamson when Marianne was signing my book. And we just kind of quickly, it wasn't that long of an interaction, just while we were standing in line, we were talking, and she didn't know who Neville Goddard was. I told her about Neville Goddard, and we followed each other on Instagram. And anyway, so I made a little friend. It was like a pretty quick interaction, maybe like 30 minutes or something. And turns out she like lives in Miami, which is kind of cool. I thought it was just random. Like, we were in Vancouver. And yeah, so I made a little friend, and we've been chatting on Instagram, which is cute. And so yeah, that was a little fun thing. I just went by myself and made a friend, and yeah, so it was fun. Well, that is all I think I have for you today. I always think I'm gonna come on, just do like a quick 5-10 minute video, and it turns into 20 minutes. So leave a comment down below if you made it to the end. Just send me like a little heart. I would love to know who you are, you beautiful soul who watched all the way to the end of my video. I really appreciate that. And if you prefer a shorter video, let me know that too. Or if you like the longer video, just feedback is great. Love that. Like button. Namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you. And have a lovely, beautiful evening or night. Okay, bye.